Hey, what's going on, Infinity Collectors? Robert Welkner here from CoinOp TV at the Disney Infinity 2.0 Marvel Superheroes booth at the San Diego Comic-Con with Matt Soley, who's going to talk us through some of the Guardians of the Galaxy playset just announced for Disney Infinity 2.0 Marvel Superheroes. So, Matt, looks like we got Star-Lord on the Disney disc here.
Oh yeah, this is Star-Lord, or as you may also know him as Peter Jason Quill. He is the leader of the Guardians of the Galaxy. So I figured it'd be a nice place to sort of start off. So actually, before I go any further, see that nice little spinning coin on screen right there? It should be mentioned that in every playset we have crossover characters now. Yes, you can take characters into other playsets now. So inside the Guardians, Nova from the Spider-Man playset can come and play once you collect 10 of these coins, and Iron Man can come and play inside. So yeah, I had to mention that one because we're going to go into heavy combat, and I'm going to show you guys how these guys are going to fight the evil that is known as Ronin and all the Sakarans. But first, I'm going to talk to my friendly Russian cosmonaut dog known as Cosmo. He runs security on Nowhere. So what's happened so far in the story is the Guardians were fleeing Ronin, and they actually were flying to Nowhere, which is a giant celestial head in space. And when they got there, unfortunately, they crashed because they're trying to deliver what's known as a Infinity Stone. For those of you who don't know, like from comics, they were originally called Infinity Gems, but now they've renamed them to be Infinity Stones. So I'm going to go ahead and beat these guys up. As you can tell, Mr. Quill has sort of two ways of combat. He can do melee, or he has his dual-wielding guns. And it should be mentioned that all the characters now have skill trees, as you may remember from the Spider-Man demo I did a while back at E3, and that includes the Guardians. So as you level up Star-Lord, you're going to be able to get various things. As you can see, I have a bunch of skill points already assigned, but the first one, I highly recommend if you're going to play Star-Lord, get the dual-wielding guns. That's the best thing to have because you can do twice the amount of damage in like half the time. So real quick, I'm going to unlock a few more of his special moves. Like he has a, it's really, really fun. He has this, it's called the Hadron, I really can pronounce this, Enforcer. You may have seen it in the trailer. It's that cool thing that pops out of his chest. And you can use that, and it's a very devastating attack against enemies. So,
I should warn you, Matt, also, we're going to put this up pre-movie, so we got to be careful. We don't want to have any movie spoilers if something pops up.
Oh, okay, so I'll be good. I won't spoil anything. But, so you got sort of a taste of like Star-Lord. He's our ranged leader of the Guardians of the Galaxy. Now what we're going to do is we're going to throw down Groot.
All right, let's get Groot on the Infinity Play Disc here.
So, Groot is a very interesting character. He is a giant living tree, as you can see. He only can say, "I am Groot." Now, I know that may sound weird, but how that works is it's communicated through inflection. So he can say, "I am Groot," or "I am Groot." They have two completely different meanings. So that's what's sort of interesting about the character. And it was really funny because when we first started doing this game, a lot of the guys in my team aren't as hardcore Marvel fan as I am. And I've been reading Guardians of the Galaxy for the better part of 5 or 6 years, so I knew that. And then when we started explaining Guardians to the team members, they're like, wait. So there's a raccoon, a giant living tree that only says, "I am Groot." And it's like, yeah, isn't that awesome? And they're like, how is that going to work in the movie? And Vinyaki got to see, and he said, it works really, really well.
Yeah, we definitely have come a long way with the power of cinema and special effects and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and as some of you may or may not know, Vin Diesel is actually the voice of Groot, which is like really exciting because he actually did the voice for all of the really, older gents out there. He actually did the voice for the Iron Giant back in the day. Yeah, that was like the coolest thing at the end of the film where he's like, "I am Superman."
It looked like was he blocking? It looked like the lasers were shooting at him. Does he have sort of a sphere or something that he can use?
What he does is his ranged attack is he actually shoves his fist through the ground, enlarges it, and uppercuts them through the ground. Very, very devastating attack. So Groot plays a lot like a Hulk-type character. Very, very, he's much slower than, the other Guardians, but very powerful. As you've been sort of noticing, I can take out turrets in, one hit, which would normally take 2 or 3. And then, I'm going to quick see if I can do his power-up.
Can you fall off the end? It looks like we're on a space station here. Can you fall off into, space infinity?
Oh, yeah. So, basically, if you do fall off, so I'll just show you real quick. It'll bring you back up. We are on a space station. Nowhere is a very interesting sort of place. There's these beings in the Marvel universe called Celestials, and they're giant beings that are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of feet tall. And actually, Nowhere is the head of a deceased Celestial. So sort of cool. You got your nerd factor on with that one. So you've been seeing Groot. It's pretty cool, but I know you want to see Drax.
We're going to show them all, guys. If you're watching this, stick around, keep watching. Matt's doing a great job showing us some Guardians of the Galaxy playset.
Okay, so even though Drax is the Destroyer, I'm going to actually summon Yondu. He's one of our newest team-up discs. As you can see, he's coming in. Now, Yondu, he actually is a friend of the Guardians. He isn't actually a Guardian, but he knows Star-Lord. He's very, very friendly with him, and that's why we decided to use him as a team-up disc. And in the film, he's played by Michael Rooker. And, yeah, evidently he's pretty awesome. So what's happened is I've cleaned out the enemies, but the Sakarans have put up these various barriers. So what I'm going to do, even though Cosmo doesn't really want me to do it, I'm going to get fuel cells to throw at these barriers to blow them up. Yeah, I know, that makes sense. Let's blow them up with some fuel cells. That will totally work.
What is, as the characters go, Drax I'm the least familiar with. What is some of his powers and abilities in the comic book?
So Drax's big thing is he was a human that's sort of been reconstructed with the sole purpose of destroying Thanos. Now you may remember Thanos. He actually was the big bad at the end of the Avengers film. Like when the guy came to report Loki's failure, he was the guy who turned around and had the purple face. Now in the film, I don't know if they've changed that role, but he's basically, how they're describing it, is he's been on a quest for vengeance across the galaxy once his wife and his daughter were murdered. So he's sort of just like a rogue element to the whole film where he has a singular mission. He's a very literal character. So when Peter Quill says something to him that would be a colloquialism in Earth, he will take it seriously. Like drawing your finger across someone's neck is, meaning you can go after him. He's like, but why would I draw my finger across their neck and not kill them? So, very, very funny character. Inside Infinity, he is a melee character. All of his attacks are extremely short range, as you were sort of seeing, and even his ranged attack is basically, it's a blade spin, but only goes a few feet. So it's really important. If you need a melee character, Drax is the one you're going to get. So right now, what you're seeing, this is the first mini-boss inside of this playset. And then, of course, because we have, fuel cells, might as well use them to destroy this thing.
So it looks like, was there a count? Oh, the counter was how many seconds you have to launch this projectile, and then we got his health above. Do we know what the ship is called that we're fighting?
It's I don't know the specific name. It's a Sakaran vessel, and actually that number up there, that is distance to the target.
Oh, that's the distance. Okay.
Oh, and I missed. Oh God. So yeah, little tip for everyone out there: once you get this, as fun as playing Rocket is, which I'll show off in just a few minutes, playing Rocket in here. Rocket, because he's so much shorter and not as strong as some of the characters, it's really difficult to hit the Sakaran vessel with these fuel cells. So I highly recommend using Drax or Groot or even Gamora, because they can really chuck these. One of the things is, Groot's super strong and so is Drax, so they get a little bit more oomph. Just like Infinity War, how Mr. Incredible could throw stuff further than anyone else. So,
all right, we're getting our tips here. So when you get the Guardians of the Galaxy playset, fight this first. This is the first boss you say in the level. We're going to use Drax.
Yep. Yeah, totally. Use Drax. Really highly recommend. Now, what's happened now is Cosmo needed me to clean out the hangar bay because the Sakarans were coming through there. So I'm going to go. He's going ahead, unlocking the entire docking bay, so I can move deeper into nowhere. But what's going to happen, we're going to find out once I talk to Cosmo again, is that the Sakarans have found a way to get into the living quarters, because there are other, besides us on here, there are other aliens, as you can see, walking around, living on the space station. Now, the issue is they don't know how to protect themselves. Remember, the Guardians are sort of they're rogues. They're not necessarily good guys or bad guys. They're mercenaries. So Cosmo's going to make you go into the living quarters section and actually stop all the stuff that's going on in there. So
we should try and get another character here. I know Rocket Raccoon is real popular. I've been doing some Instagram photos with him at Comic-Con so far.
Yeah, no, Rocket Raccoon, he's honestly one of my favorite characters from the comic. But whatever you do, don't call him a raccoon. He doesn't like that. In the movie, he's voiced by Bradley Cooper. His whole background story, for people who aren't familiar, he is a genetically modified raccoon to be able to move around like a human. Interestingly enough, his first job was he worked in an intergalactic insane asylum. and eventually left that and met up with Groot and has sort of become like an intergalactic mercenary. Oh. And his big thing is he is actually one of the best pilots in the galaxy and master strategist, and has a huge love of high explosives, as you can see from his giant massive quantum guns, which I'm charged up to maximum, which is a skill you unlock, and boom.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, so it's like with Rocket, it's not about subtlety, it's about you're going in with the biggest gun. And if you have a problem with that, that's not his problem.
When I played with him in like Marvel vs. Capcom, I think there was a move where he went like underground and like kind of tunnel, and he sort of like mischievous, sneaky kind of attacks like that.
Oh yeah, so in Marvel vs. Capcom, he had that. In this one, he's just a straight up like, I have bigger guns than you, and I'm going through. So yeah, he like for instance, right now, this is his super move. As you can see, it's a massive gun. Like that's his whole thing. It's like not necessarily compensating for something. Well, because he's so short and he's a raccoon. But yeah, he really is a very straightforward blaster character. So if you like doing ranged combat and playing as a lovable raccoon, I recommend Rocket.
I was in Toys R Us the other day where I saw the Nerf guns for some of the Star-Lord and Rocket Raccoon. Yes, so that'd be kind of cool. Well, last but not least, we should probably get to the female of the group.
Gamora, the most lethal woman, deadliest woman in the galaxy. So as you can see, she looks really cool right now. This is her movie look. But because it's Comic-Con and we're announcing new and fun stuff, I'm actually going to show you we have a costume swap for her. So what I'm going to do here is I'm putting down the costume swap, and it's going to change it to her now sort of more comic book look, where it's actually a space armor. Now remember, costume swaps do work with every character, they just don't necessarily they won't get the costume. So you would, if I put this on Iron Man, I would get the space armor power boost, but I wouldn't get the costume. So, okay, we're going to go over here. Now, Gamora's thing is, as you can guess if you've seen the figure from any of the press that's been out there, is she likes using her sword. We also gave her sort of a mini assault rifle that allows her to have a little bit of range. She's primarily melee. This is just to more, soften them up before they get to you. When you get Gamora, I highly recommend leveling up her health at first, because she is, as some people would call it, a glass cannon in the beginning, where she is really tough and very deadly, but enemies can, like, if they gang up on you, could quickly take her out. So make sure to focus on her health and defense a little bit in the beginning, and then start going after all of her, like, superpowers. So we've cleaned out the majority of this section of the living quarters, and this is sort of the last section of the demo. It's pretty fun. So in order to, like, break up gameplay, and we're not just constantly, like, fighting around nowhere, we actually have added a whole bunch of turret sections and stuff like that, where you have to defend against the Sicarian fleet trying to come through. So what's now I'm going to have to do is go activate the air guns so we can actually defend the station, because that's the issue. It's the shield is up, but it's just getting peppered by what's called the Dark Aster. And I'll show you an image of that when we get up here. The Dark Aster is Ronan's flagship. And it's you may have seen it's that giant black ship from the trailer that looks really mean and aggressive. That's Ronan's ship. So eventually, when you play through the story, you will actually get to go to the Dark Aster and take the fight to Ronan. So that's like super fun and exciting. But you're gonna have to do a ton of stuff inside of the nowhere side of the playset before you get there, because getting on someone's flagship, as you can see, quite large, is no small undertaking. So what's just happened was when we were trying to turn on the auto gun, one of the Sicarians came in and actually blew it up. So now I'm going to have to use an older model and try to stop them from bombing the living quarters. Because remember, I'm still in where all the civilians are, so I got to protect them.
No, not if you're Superman, right? That doesn't really matter. Also, we should point out there was another disc that you put on the up there. I see it glowing sort of in the left there. What did we talk about that as on the screen? There's the something else we added to the mix.
Oh yeah, that's Yondu. That was the guy I summoned in when we were playing as Drax.
Okay,
he's the
right
guy. Yeah, the guy who looks like Michael Rooker. Yeah, so he's like a team-up disc. I'll summon him in so we can just take a look at him again. But he won't fight because there's no enemies. But he's a very cool-looking character. His whole shtick is he actually, when he fights, he whistles because he can throw arrows, and with his whistle, it's so hypersonic, he can course correct the arrow to an enemy. Yeah, so he's a
So this is like kind of a NPC co-op character.
yeah. We have a bunch of these. We have Iron Patriot. We have the Winter Soldier.
And one of these, if I got one of the motorcycles, the sidecar, can my character jump in the sidecar and like fight alongside with me?
That is a really cool idea. Unfortunately, no. I'm gonna steal that idea and not give you credit. But no, that's actually a really good idea. Because
I'm a big fan of these sidecar motorcycles. It seems like you got a few of these.
yeah. Oh, they're yeah. Well, when we added in motorcycles, we're like, oh, we have to totally do the sidecar. And then on the Disney side, guess which is the first motorcycle with a sidecar we would do is Darkwing Duck's Ratcatcher. I'm a huge old school Darkwing Duck fan, so that was like so cool, and it actually plays the theme song. So like that's a really really fun one. So right now, this is like the final section of the demo. As you can see, the Sakarans are actually dropping bombs on the living quarters, so I have to sort of take them out before my health bar at the top reaches 0. Now the trick is, when you're playing this section, you may notice there's some ships that I'm blowing up with one shot, and there's some that take multiple. The reason for that is the ones that take multiple, these are the bombers. These are the ones that you want to watch out for because they're going to stop, hold position. Oh, oops, and I missed one. They're going to hold position and they're going to drop that mine on top of the buildings to destroy this section of the city. So take those guys out first and then worry about the ones that are the fast ones flying around constantly last. So we have one more wave. As you can see, here they come.
I don't want to spoil it for the guys watching home. So I think I'll roll out. So we saw all the 5 figures. Yep. We got to see some of the gameplay. This is the Guardians of the Galaxy playset for Disney Infinity 2.0 Marvel Superheroes. Guys, let us know in the comments below which character, which figure you're most excited about checking out. If you're going to see the movie, what you think of the game so far. For CoinOut TV, thanks a bunch to Matt. We'll see you guys next time.